Welcome to our animated philosophy series, where we explore timeless concepts in a modern context. Today we're diving into one of the fundamental concepts in Aristotle's philosophy, hylomorphism. Now, I know that term might sound a bit intimidating at first, but by the end of our discussion, you'll see how it's a really insightful way to understand the world around us. So, let's start with the basics. The word hylomorphism comes from two Greek words, Hyle, which means matter, and Morphe, which means form. What Aristotle is doing here is breaking down the essence of physical objects into two key components, matter and form. These two components work together to make up everything we see and experience in the physical world. Imagine you're looking at a statue. What do you see? You see a form. Perhaps it's the shape of a human figure. But that shape is made out of something, right? Maybe it's marble, bronze, or clay. That material, according to Aristotle, is the matter the shape or the design of the statue. That's the form. Aristotle argued that neither form nor matter could exist on its own in the physical world. You can't have just the matter without some kind of form, and form can't exist in a vacuum without being expressed through some kind of matter. Together, they create the individual, tangible objects we interact with daily. Let's break it down further with a more relatable example. Think of a house. The wood, bricks, nails, and other materials that make up the house are the matter on their own. They're just a pile of building materials. But when you arrange them according to a design or blueprint, they become a house. That blueprint, the design, is the form. It gives the materials structure, order, and purpose. Without the form, you'd just have a heap of supplies, and without the matter, you'd only have an idea, not an actual house. Now, Aristotle didn't stop with inanimate objects. He applied this concept to living things as well. Take a living organism, for example, a tree. The tree's physical body, its roots, trunk, leaves, that's the matter. But what makes it alive? Aristotle would say that its form is what he called its soul or entelechy, which is a kind of organizing principle that makes the tree not just a collection of parts, but a living, growing entity. The soul, in this sense, isn't something mystical, but rather the inherent purpose and function that shapes the matter into a living organism. This idea of form and matter being inseparable is really powerful because it helps explain how we can have so much diversity in the world. Different forms can be imposed on similar matter to create entirely different objects. For instance, the same lump of clay could be shaped into a cup, a plate, or a sculpture. The matter is the same, but the forms are different, and that's what gives each object its unique identity and purpose. So why does this matter, you might ask? Well, Aristotle's hylomorphism has had a lasting influence on philosophy, particularly in how we think about the nature of reality and existence. For centuries, thinkers have built on or reacted to Aristotle's ideas. For example, Thomas Aquinas, a medieval philosopher and theologian, adapted hylomorphism to explain the relationship between the body and soul in human beings. Even in modern philosophy, debates about the mind-body problem or the nature of consciousness often hark back to Aristotle's distinction between form and matter. To help make this more relatable, imagine we're talking to an architect and a sculptor. The architect, let's say, is working on designing a new building. He tells us that the materials for the building are essential, but without a design or blueprint, those materials wouldn't become a structure, they'd just be a pile of resources. The sculptor, on the other hand, might be working on a new statue. She tells us that the clay she's using is just as important as the shape she gives it, but it's the shape that makes it a piece of art, not just a lump of clay. In both cases, we see hylomorphism in action. The architect and the sculptor are both working with matter, the building materials, and the clay and form, the design of the building and the shape of the statue, to create something new and meaningful. Without either component, their work wouldn't have substance or identity. And this, in essence, is what Aristotle was getting at with hylomorphism. It's a way of understanding that everything in the physical world is a combination of both what things are made of and what shape or purpose they're given. It's a concept that has shaped philosophical thought for centuries and continues to be relevant in discussions about the nature of reality, identity, and purpose. So, next time you look at an object, whether it's something as simple as a coffee cup or as complex as a living organism, remember Aristotle's idea of hylomorphism. Consider how the form and matter work together to create that object and give it its unique place in the world. That's the beauty of Aristotle's thought. He gives us a lens through which we can better understand the world around us, from the simplest objects to the most complex forms of life. Thank you for learning with us. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more insights into similar echoes.